Does blame matter in a Colorado divorce? If you're afraid an affair, guilt, or blame means you lose everything in a Colorado divorce, I need you to pause before you sign anything. Guilt is not a legal standard, and shame is not a legal standard. Gossip is not a legal standard. I know divorce feels personal because it's personal. And when a marriage ends, people want a story. Friends may take sides. Family members repeat things. One spouse may try to control the narrative. Sometimes children are even pulled into it. But the courtroom is not your social circle. The court is not deciding who told the better story to your friends, to your family, or to your neighbors. The court is deciding the legal issues. In Colorado, divorce is based on the marriage being irretrievably broken. The court does not require one spouse to prove fault to get divorced. The court is not dividing property as a punishment for who caused the marriage to end. The court is not deciding maintenance as a reward for one spouse or a penalty against the other. The court looks at legal standards, evidence, financial information, parenting history, and of course, the best interests of your children. So when someone asks, can the affair be used against me in court? The answer I give usually starts with this. What happened may matter emotionally. I know it matters emotionally. I know it matters personally. It affects your trust. It affects the way people communicate. It hurts. But it does not automatically mean you lose your rights in court. It does not automatically mean you give up parenting time. It is treated differently under the law in Colorado. You didn't waive maintenance. Doesn't mean you have to agree to property terms that don't reflect Colorado law. And if you were the person who was hurt, your pain is real. Your pain can be awful. I have seen it. But the thing is, pain alone does not automatically decide property division. It doesn't decide support. It doesn't decide parenting time either. The legal question, and that's the question we have to talk about right now, is it's not who is more hurt. The legal question is, what does Colorado law require and what can be proven? This matters because one of the most dangerous moments in a divorce is when someone starts making permanent legal decisions from temporary fear. Sometimes it's guilt, sometimes it's shame, sometimes it is just exhaustion or pressure, just pressure to be done because things have gotten so very, very hard. A relationship that started out as loving and caring and you had a big wedding and a party and you really meant it has now turned into something that is just awful for you. And an affair can really turn the heat up on that. So a person may accept less parenting time because they feel they caused the divorce. A parent may waive maintenance because they feel they owe it to the other spouse out of guilt. A person can agree to property terms that they don't understand because they're embarrassed or they're exposed or they're afraid of what someone might say. And while you feel all that, and while it may make perfect sense you feel that way, that is not strategy. That is fear making a decision about the rest of your life, about everything that matters, your money, your property, your children. That is what gets divided in a divorce. So a divorce settlement, it's not a mood. It's not how you feel in a moment. It is a legal and a financial structure. It can shape parenting time, decision making, property division, cash flow, retirement, debt, housing, and your future options for years to come. So before you sign, slow down, read the terms, understand what rights you may be giving up, understand what the agreement requires of you, understand what can be changed later and what could be very difficult to ever undo. And if children are involved, the same principles apply. Colorado court focuses on the children's best interests. The court looks at parenting involvement, safety, communication, the child's relationship with each parent, and each parent's ability to support the child's relationship with the other parent when it's safe and appropriate. The court is not deciding whether someone was a perfect spouse. The court is deciding what arrangement serves the child. Your role as a parent is not erased because the marriage is ending. It's actually amplified. A mistake in a marriage does not make someone an unfit parent in and of itself. Being hurt by a spouse does not make every parent position legally stronger. The court looks at the child's life, who's been involved, who handles school, who handles medical appointments, who communicates about the child, and what schedule actually works for the child. What evidence supports the parenting plan that is being proposed? This is where the court looks at evidence, not gossip. What your spouse says about you may hurt, and what friends believe may hurt, and what family members repeat may hurt. But your legal strategy should be built around what can be documented, organized, and presented clearly. And to the extent that Colorado is a no-fault state, an affair in and of itself is not an issue that is before the court unless it comes in for some other reason. So if something happens this week, you get a difficult text, you have a custody exchange problem, a financial threat, pause before you react. Do not send an angry message. Do not make threats. Do not empty bank accounts. Do not post about it. And this applies to whether you're on the side of the affair where you had the affair, or you're on the side of the affair where you are hurt and broken and surprised and trust has ended. Do not use your children as messengers. Document what happened and save the message. Write down the date and time. Keep the facts separate from the emotion. Then get advice before you make the next move. There are details and exceptions that matter to what I'm telling you. Conduct may become legally relevant when it affects children's safety, finances, credibility, dissipation of assets, or other evidence that is before the court. So there are things that the court cares about that may be affected, but it's not the literal fact of the betrayal. So this is not a message to ignore facts. It is a message to separate emotional blame for legal relevance. And not every painful fact is a legally important fact. Not every accusation changes the outcome. And not every fear should drive your next decision. A good legal team should not inflame the conflict. This is very important. It should help you understand the law, understand your risk and your options and your consequences before you sign something that may affect your future. In family law, preparation is the protection. Start with the law, not fear. Start with evidence, not gossip. Start with information before you make the next move. This is very important. This video is general legal information. It's not legal advice because every family law matter is different. But if you need to understand your options in a Colorado divorce or custody case, schedule a consultation with Jones Law Firm. This is what we do.